True or false? Broadway musicals are lightweight entertainments meant to beguile the time of an evening and to leave people whistling a catchy tune or two on their way out of the theater. True sometimes, but not always, and particularly not since Stephen Sondheim came along.
Isn't it warm? Isn't it rosy? Side by side, by side.
Isn't it cutie?
Ports in a storm, comfy and cozy, side by side.
He never loses his cool.
By side.
Composer Stephen Sondheim is often called the father of the modern American musical. He earned the title by experimenting with form and content. He earned it by asking audiences not to sit back and relax, but to sit up and take notice.
You know, you write because you want people to hear your work. You want people to hear your work and like your work. But if I have to take my choice, I'd rather have them hear the work and dislike it than not hear the work.
Turn up, light the lights. You got nothing to hit for the heights.
Stephen Sondheim's work has been heard. Early in his career, he wrote the lyrics for such landmark musicals as Gypsy and West Side Story.
Tonight, tonight, it all began tonight.
His first major success as both lyricist and composer was A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum.
Something for everyone, a comedy tonight.
But with Company in 1970, he established himself as the preeminent composer of the concept musical. A musical built around a theme with a story but no plot.
Ring store chimes in, comes company. No strings, sometimes just chums company.
He shattered our conventional notion of what a musical could be about and how its story could be told.
Another reason not to move, another vodka singer. I'll drink to that.
25 years later, Company is enjoying a sold-out return to Broadway.
Come ring store chimes in, comes company.
Were you aware at the time that you were breaking the mold?
There was a certain amount of bafflement. Not so much resistance, but bafflement. It was a new animal, and the trouble was it was fun to see, so they couldn't just hate it, you see. So there was a sort of mixed feeling, a pull and push.
You could drive a person crazy. You could drive a person mad. First you make a person
You never, in watching this current production, stand in the back of the theater and say, if I were doing it now, here's what I'd do.
No, I expected I would see that, but no, I don't think so. No, I think we'd do the same show, and the characters, I think, would be similar. The notion of disaffected people, of people who are trying to find a way of committing themselves, either in a relationship, so to speak, or politics, or anything like that. It is a show about non-commitment and the difficulties of committing.
Someone to hold you too close. Someone to hurt you too deep.
One of the things you expect in a complex character, which I guess we all are, is a certain amount of anxiety, insecurity from time to time. Does Stephen Sondheim still feel anxiety about his work?
Oh, sure, all the time. And not only do I, but everybody feels it all the time. One of the things that people who don't like the shows that I write, I think it's one of the things they don't like, is it does remind them. I mean, an awful lot of people have gone historically to musicals to forget their troubles. Come on, get happy. I'm not interested in that.
He shaved the faces of gentlemen who never thereafter were heard of again.
What has interested him? Well, Sweeney Todd, a dark, dark tale of revenge.
A demon barber of Fleet Street.
Into the woods and down the dell, in vain perhaps, but who can tell?
Into the Woods, an adult look at classic fairy tales.
To win the beat, to get the money.
Loving you.
And Passion, a story of both the obsessive danger and redemptive power of love.
Loving you is not in my control.
Such are the intrigues of the mind of Stephen Sondheim, a mind influenced greatly by another master of the musical theater, Oscar Hammerstein. Hammerstein was a friend and mentor to the young Sondheim after Stephen's parents divorced.
It was during those years, because my mother was absent and because she was a very difficult woman, the Hammerstein sort of saved my psychological soul. But saved me. They saved me in a very deep way. And I attached myself to Oscar in the sense that I wanted to be what he was. Now, you know, I've often said that if he'd been an archaeologist, I would have been an archaeologist. Maybe I wouldn't have had the talent for archaeology. And luckily, he was in a profession that obviously I have gifts for, so it worked out very nicely. But it was essentially imitating him.
Yeah, you're doing an A there.
Oh, yeah.
What Sondheim learned from Hammerstein, he hopes to pass on to others.
Find each other in crowded streets in the guarded parks, by the rusty fountains and the dusty trees.
Okay.
What it'll do is
I love teaching. It's a sacred profession to me. I hear the word teach, I start to cry. My life was saved by teachers, and it's the noblest of all professions.
Can you sometimes, while you're teaching, also have a revelation about that helps you?
Yes, indeed. Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Oscar said that in a song. He said, by your pupils you are taught.
Oh my God, what is that?
Recently, the Old Globe Theater in San Diego premiered the first Stephen Sondheim non-musical written for the stage. Co-authored with friend and company collaborator George Firth, The Doctor Is Out is a comedy, mystery, thriller.
You are a team. An amazing team, all of you.
But you know what audiences like. If you wanted to, if you started out, I mean, I'm assuming that if you wanted to write a hit show that runs a long time, you could do it.
Charles, if anybody could do that, they would be trillionaires. Nobody could do that. Nobody could do that. Every writer who's ever had a huge success wrote what he wanted to write, and it hit. Nobody sits and says, okay, now the formula for a show is we'll have a nun and a dog and Abraham Lincoln. And it never works. It never works.
At his best, and that is often, Stephen Sondheim can turn a few notes and words into a complex vision of the human condition.
Somebody make me come through. I'll always be there, as frightened as you, to help us survive.
That's what gives you pleasure as you're putting this together, a sense of expressing the truth.
Expressing the truth and saying, look at this, isn't this interesting? Isn't this interesting? I mean, what do you write? You write because you want to say, look at her. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? Isn't that? Stop thinking about yourself. Maybe if you look at her, you'll think about yourself clearer.
On the subject of the audience, you have said that you would rather that they understand than be entertained.
No, not rather. I'd rather have them both. But the important thing is understand. Again, if I had to choose between the two, understand.